Good morning, dear students.
Morning, sir.
Yes.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning. Now, did you work out this problem? Have you got the answer? This bond enthalpy based problem. Anybody has got it? How would you work out this? No idea? Okay, some messages come. 443, 444.3. Okay. From Nikita. What's remaining? $443. There is one more response. I'm sure also says 443. Okay. And remaining have not worked out. That's beautiful. Okay. Now we'll take a further. See, there is some reaction here. CH4 plus Cl2 giving rise to Cl3Cl plus HCl. Calculate the bond enthalpy of ClCl bond. Given remaining bond enthalpies. Okay. Now, when you write the reactants and products bond enthalpies, it would always be like this. Bond in enthalpy of reactants. Which are reactants here? It is bond enthalpy of CH4. Let me write one more step so that you'll understand better. This is Cl2 reactants minus bond enthalpy of CH3Cl plus bond enthalpy of HCl, right? Now, when you look at the structure, in methane, there is 4 CH bonds. Correct? There are 4 CH bonds. In Cl2, there is 1 ClCl bond. Am I right? The equation is balanced. No need to balance also. And in CH3Cl, there are 3 CH bonds and 1 CCl bond. And HCl has 1 H bond Cl, right? So we need to substitute there. Okay. This is bond enthalpy of 4 times CH bond. I think you can understand. In methane, there are 4 CH bonds plus bond enthalpy of Cl bond Cl, right? Minus bond enthalpy of 1 CCl plus 3 CH bond, right? Plus 3 bond enthalpy of CH bond, because in CH3Cl, there are 3 CH bonds and 1 Cl bond, right? So in that way, plus bond enthalpy of H. So this is the UL. Now you just substitute and simplify. That's all. You will get it. Okay. So come on, go to the values now. 4 times bond enthalpy of CH. CH is 413 plus bond enthalpy of Cl bond Cl is what we need to calculate. Minus bond enthalpy of CCl bond. Second one 326 minus I have opened the bracket and CH bond again 3 times 413 minus bond enthalpy of HCl is 431, and they have given enthalpy of reaction minus 100.3. Now come on, just need to simplify and let me know. You need to calculate this. Come on, let me know the answer. Anybody has got?
So 243.7.
Exactly. That's the correct answer. No problem. What was the mistake, Nikita?
Sir, I did products minus reactants.
Especially for calculating the enthalpy of reaction in terms of bond enthalpies, it has to be reactants minus this, because in products, bond formation liberates energy. In case of
Yes,
reactants, bond breaking is what is required. It is absorption of energy. So if heat liberated is more than heat absorbed, delta H must be negative, right? So reactants, endo first, products formation, exo next. That's why enthalpy of reaction in terms of bond enthalpy would always be reactants minus products. You should remember that. Maybe
yes, sir.
okay. See, I have posted MCQs for you. If this is complete, let me write the value 343, 243.7. Okay. Rest similar in SS law based problems and bond enthalpy calculations, and based on spontaneity and non-spontaneity, Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Okay, these are all the things which we need to look at when it comes to MCQs in competitive exams. Okay, we shall proceed. You want me to write the formula? We'll take up MCQs now.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See, in thermodynamics, we have work done experiment. Before that, first law. First law, it is delta U is equal to Q plus W. Okay. Then we have relation between delta H and delta U. Delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V. Or you can also use this equation, delta H is equal to delta U plus RT delta N. Right. Number 3, work done expressions. Work done in reversible isothermal process. W is equal to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. Sorry, V2 by V1, that is. And in terms of pressure, what it would be?
P1 by P2.
And W is equal to minus 2.303 nRT log P1 by P2. Okay. So this is work done during isothermal reversible process. Temperature constant, reversible, very slow process. isothermal reversible. Fourth one, work done during adiabatic process. NCV delta T we say. What is CV? Molar heat capacity at constant volume we say. N is number of moles as usual. Okay, I'll just write CV. Molar heat capacity at constant volume. Molar heat capacity at constant volume. And delta T, you should be a little more judicious while taking delta T. Generally, delta T or any change will be higher minus lower. Likewise, in case of delta T, it can be either T2 minus T1 or T1 minus T2, depending on whether it is adiabatic expansion or adiabatic compression. Okay. So T2 minus T1 when you take, it obviously means that T2 is greater than T1. That's why we have taken like that. And now tell me, in adiabatic process, when the final temperature T2 would be greater than initial temperature T1? Anybody?
Compression.
Very good. So during compression, why would final temperature be greater than initial temperature during adiabatic compression?
Because pressure is directly proportional to temperature.
This is a kind of remixing effect. You have some kind of double voice. What is happening? So adiabatic compression. During adiabatic process, heat doesn't exchange between system and surrounding. When you compress a gas, it is like doing work on the system. When work on the system is done, W is equal to delta U for adiabatic process. So simply temperature increases because internal energy also increases. Likewise, delta T should be T1 minus T2. That's because T1 is greater than T2. So when would it happen? When it is adiabatic expansion. During adiabatic expansion, system does the work. Internal energy is utilized for that. So when internal energy decreases, temperature decreases. So final temperature will be greater, will be less than initial temperature. So we'll do that. Then during the adiabatic process, but with the constant pressure, we can use this equation. W is equal to minus P pressure external into delta V like that. So for isothermal process, at constant pressure. At constant pressure. So based on these equations, there shall be problems. Okay. So then we have different definitions. You need to remember to write an equation as per a particular definition. For example, enthalpy of formation. Okay. I change color. See, enthalpy of formation. What is enthalpy of formation? It is for formation of 1 mole of compound. One mole of compound. Okay. From its elements. That is the condition. Should write an equation like that. And delta H has to be calculated. That is enthalpy of formation. Then enthalpy of combustion. It's for combustion of 1 mole of substance. One mole of substance. What is the condition? In excess here, so that combustion is complete. In excess here. When carbon is burnt, if it becomes carbon monoxide, then enthalpy change can be called as enthalpy of combustion of carbon?
No, sir.
Because this is not complete combustion. It cannot be taken as enthalpy of combustion of carbon. Wrong. Okay, so it has to be complete combustion to give carbon dioxide. Then it can be enthalpy of combustion of carbon. Okay, like that. That's the meaning of that. Okay, we'll take a break. Similarly, under every condition, what will be standard enthalpy of formation? It is at 1 bar pressure under given condition of temperature. That's all. Important is 1 bar pressure under given condition of temperature. Generally, they fix temperature at 298 Kelvin, but that is not mandatory. Okay, enthalpy of formation, enthalpy of combustion. Similarly, enthalpy of solution. Enthalpy of solution is it is for 1 mole of solute. What is the to be dissolved? Condition is completely. That's all. So it should be complete. 1 mole of solute to be dissolved completely. If it has to be complete, solvent should be excess and all those things, right? So anyhow, enthalpy of solution. Similarly, 9th one, enthalpy of transition. Transition happens between 2 allotropes. Okay, for 1 mole of substance, you need to write an equation for 1 mole of substance between or changing between allotropes at something called transition temperature. Okay, carbon diamond to graphite. Okay, phosphorus white to red, something like that. Okay. Similarly, enthalpy of neutralization, we have discussed enough on that. Enthalpy of neutralization, it is the change in enthalpy for 1 gram equivalent mass. Acid by 1 gram equivalent mass of base. In condition is in dilute aqueous medium. In dilute aqueous medium, that is enthalpy. And in this enthalpy of neutralization case, for weak acid and weak base, in heat liberated is always less than 57.3. Okay, okay. Let me write first. Enthalpy of neutralization of strong acid by strong base is always constant, minus 57.3 kilojoules. Now, for a weak acid, enthalpy of neutralization of weak acid by a strong base or weak base is equal to, how do we calculate? Minus 57.3 plus enthalpy of ionization, INH. Okay, so this is some of the important definition. Like, apart from that, we just have seen bond enthalpy, bond H they say, or simply we represent as BE. Okay, so bond enthalpy, it is for 1 mole of bonds to be broken by absorbing it. Okay, it is for 1 mole of bonds to be broken in gaseous state. That is the condition. Gaseous state. Similarly, atomization enthalpy, AH, it is for 1 mole of a substance completely. To be converted to gaseous atoms. That means by breaking all the bonds. All the bonds. That is what is atomization enthalpy. Sometimes bond enthalpy would be same as atomization enthalpy. For example, in case of Cl2, there is only one bond between two Cl atoms. So breaking 1 mole of bond is equal to 2 Cl gas. That is nothing but atomization enthalpy. Whereas in case of methane, okay, so atomization enthalpy of methane obviously will be 4 times bond enthalpy of CH bond. Our bond enthalpy is equal to average atomization enthalpy by 4 also you can do that. Okay, so that is atomization enthalpy. Like that, apart from that, there are so many phase transition definitions, phase transformations. Phase transformation. So what is this phase transformation? See, generally, when substance changes from one physical state to another physical state, then it can be called as phase transformation. This is rather a common sense, that's all. Okay, so under that, I'll just give enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization means for 1 mole of liquid from changing from liquid to the vapor state. Okay, for example, H2O liquid to H2O gas, 1 mole. Whatever enthalpy change is there, that is enthalpy of vaporization. Similarly, enthalpy of fusion. What do we say now? Similarly, 1 mole of solid to liquid. Condition I just want to mention. So 1 mole of solid to liquid at its melting point. At its melting point is okay. And this is from liquid to vapor at its boiling point. Boiling point. I like that. H2O ice, for example. Ice converting to liquid. So this is exactly represents 1 mole of solid to liquid, like enthalpy of fusion. Similarly, enthalpy of sublimation. SUBH this. Okay. So for that, 1 mole of solid to the gaseous state. Condition without entering to the liquid. Liquid state. That's the condition. Is that okay? So for example, iodine solid to iodine gas. Now, so these are all phase transformations. So some definitions instantly we can understand, not a problem. Okay. Similarly, enthalpy of hydration is there. Enthalpy of hydration means when 1 mole of substance is completely hydrated. 1 mole of substance is completely hydrated. For example, when you take copper sulfate, when it gets completely hydrated, it becomes copper sulfate pentahydrate. Then whatever enthalpy change is called, it is enthalpy of hydration. Okay. Similarly, lattice enthalpy we have. For 1 mole of ionic solid from its gaseous ions, correct? No? From its gaseous ions. So this is what is lattice enthalpy. And we have in connection with that Born-Haber cycle. To calculate lattice enthalpy. Okay. By and large, these are all the definitions for which we need to know the equations, how to write equations and calculation of enthalpy change for that. Okay, so then we'll take up Hess's law. First, Lavoisier Laplace. This can be called as first law of thermochemistry. Okay, here equations can be reversed. How? By changing the sign of delta H. Okay, similarly, Hess law. Hess law, simple equations can be added, or given equations can be added, just not that, subtracted, multiplied, divided to get enthalpy change for the required reaction. Enthalpy change for the required reaction. So this is Hess's law. Both Hess's law and Lavoisier Laplace law are based on the law of conservation of energy. So that's it. Okay. So after that we have spontaneity and non-spontaneity and related formulae. Okay. So here I'll proceed with 12:30. Okay. To start with, we have examples of spontaneity, non-spontaneity, etc. Here, second law of thermodynamics. Enthalpy of system should be greater than 0. Or if it is an open system, delta S total, which is equal to delta S system and delta S surrounding, should be greater than 0. That's it. Okay. And also calculation of delta S is equal to delta H by T, or you can also write Q by T, joule per Kelvin, per mole, per gram. They use different notations, but generally joules. Then 15th we had H is equal to G is equal to better. G is equal to H minus Ts. Okay, and corresponding to this, the Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S, Gibbs-Helmholtz equation. Okay, then 16th, the relation between delta G naught and equilibrium constant, you just need to remember delta G naught is equal to minus 2.303 RT log K equilibrium. K equilibrium, Kc, Kp are the constants. Okay, I'll just elaborate the last equation. Okay, this is especially for a reaction which is reversible at equilibrium, right? K equilibrium means equilibrium constant is applicable for a reversible reaction at equilibrium, right? Now K equilibrium for a reaction, K equilibrium, when I say K equilibrium, it may be equilibrium constant in terms of concentration or equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure. For reaction, which is the K equilibrium, can be, it can be greater than 1, or it can be less than 1, or it can be equal to 1. And it cannot be 0 or so. Okay, so when it is equal to 1, the reaction is perfectly at equilibrium. When it is greater than 1, we will say numerator is more. Forward reaction is more spontaneous. When it is less than 1, backward reaction is more spontaneous. Now, based on these values of K, delta G naught can take negative, positive, or zero values. Okay, so based on that, case 1, if K equilibrium is equal to 1, is equal to 1, what would happen? Log 1 is 0 in the equation, correct? In the equation, log Kp or K equilibrium becomes equal to 0. Therefore, what happens to delta G naught? Will be 0. So this can be concluded that therefore reaction is at equilibrium perfectly. Reaction is at equilibrium. Case 2. If K equilibrium is greater than 1, then log K equilibrium, the log value which is greater than 1 will be positive. Therefore, if log value is positive, plus into minus, delta G naught will be negative. Correct? Therefore, for in the reaction, reversible reaction, we will say forward reaction is spontaneous. SP I'll write spontaneous. Okay. Similarly, when you take case 3, if in a reversible reaction, if K equilibrium is less than 1, then log K equilibrium, if any value of log which is less than 1 will make it negative. For example, fractions, for example. Okay, so when you take fraction log, it becomes negative. So in the equation there is negative sign. Therefore, delta G naught minus and minus plus delta G naught becomes positive. Therefore, forward reaction is non-spontaneous. But backward reaction is spontaneous. That's how it's like. Here also you can conclude forward reaction is spontaneous. Therefore, this implies backward reaction is non-spontaneous. So there will be questions like they'll give K equilibrium, they'll ask you to calculate delta G naught and vice versa. So these are all some of the equations in thermodynamics and the concepts. We'll take MCQs I have posted in the group, and after that also we'll have little more discussions post worksheet. Also we'll try to take little more questions, not one. So do you need to write this or what exactly, or should I share the video? What is better? Would you like to write this or share the video? I didn't get you.
Anything is fine.
Your voice is somehow echoing, Prahlad.
Anything is fine, it also.
Okay, I'll share the video, not a problem. Already written. Okay, that's a good thing. Share the video. Okay, not a problem. This video can be shared in the group. Okay, we'll take up MCQs now. Just stop sharing this. So come on. MCQs has been posted. Now open the worksheet. We'll take up one by one now. Right. The internal energies of same quantity of different substances under the same conditions are equal, 0, different, maybe equal or different. what is correct and why? No answer. Internal energy is of same quantity of different substances under same conditions. Everything is same, but quantity is different.
Equals.
Of same quantity, but substances are different.
Equal.
Equal. Nikita says different. What could be the reason?
Because they have different enthalpies.
If enthalpy is different, internal energy is also different.
Yes.
Okay.
From the equation of delta H equal to delta U plus.
Okay. See, internal energy is the energy possessed by the system due to the nature of the substance, depending on the bonding pattern, okay, and so many things, internal energy. So it is overall the addition, it is the summation of the different forms of kinetic energy and the potential energies put together. It can yield the internal energy. So quantity may be same, conditions may be same, but substance itself is different. When substance is different, the bonding pattern and everything will be different. Obviously, internal energy also will be different. For an isothermal process, what is correct? To begin with, these are all the questions from thermodynamics part of it. Thermodynamics, which has system, surrounding, intensive, extensive, all those things, and adiabatic processes, isothermal process, work done during all those processes, based on that. And then we'll go to thermochemistry, right? So for an isothermal process, what is the correct statement? This is based on first law. For an isothermal process, what is zero?
Q equal to W. Delta U is
I don't know why your voice is echoing. Prahlad?
lead the meeting.
Not audible properly. Delta U is equal to 0. When delta U is equal to 0, then Q becomes equal to minus W, or in terms of magnitude, they become equal to one another. So which would be correct answer? Therefore, in terms of magnitude, which could be therefore correct answer? Option A. That's
Option.
okay. Q is equal to 0. You can say because. One second. I've written that. Just take the pen. So there is no change in internal energy. So therefore Q is equal to W in terms of magnitude. Otherwise, if you take sign convention, plus Q is equal to minus W. Heat absorbed is equal to work done by the system. Like that. No problem. Okay. Right. Third we'll take. Compounds formed by absorption of heat from their elements are called, this can be heat absorbing reactions are endothermic, and that thus compounds formed are also endothermic compounds. Heat liberating exothermic, and the compounds formed during exothermic are called exothermic compounds also. In an adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas, what is correct?
Work done is 0.
Now it's right. You went and came back again. Work done is 0 during adiabatic expansion. Why a work done is 0? You're telling? Without gas doing the work, can expansion happen? It's not possible, right? So work done by the system it is expansion. Adiabatic means the process where heat neither enters the system nor leaves the system. As a result, it is option B. Q is equal to 0. Q itself is heat change. Heat change is 0. Among the following, the term not involved in the first law of thermodynamics is
Entropy.
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 entropy. Okay. Entropy is involved in which law?
Second and third.
Second and third.
Okay. So second and third. Very good. So we'll take up option D. Sixth one. In a closed insulated container, a liquid is stirred to increase the temperature. The one which is true with respect to the given relation is. So look at the conditions. Based on that, you have to give correct answer.
Option A, sir.
Option D, sir.
I am getting answer B, A, D. Somebody? Huh? What is correct? Okay. Now, in a closed insulated container.
Option B, sir.
Okay. Let's see. In a closed insulated container. When I say insulated, an insulated, perfectly insulated container becomes isolated. A process that takes place in isolated system is isothermal or adiabatic?
Adiabatic.
Adiabatic.
So for adiabatic process, heat change Q is equal to 0.
0.
Right. And a liquid is stirred to increase. Stirring a liquid is like doing work on the system. Okay, work is done on the system. The one which is true. And now when Q is equal to 0 as per first law, delta is equal to Q plus W. So delta U is equal to minus W. Actually, most appropriate is option A. That's all. For the reason that they have given minus sign, because what if liquid is stirred, it is like doing work on the system, it has to be plus W. That you make it plus. Option A itself is most appropriate. For insulated container, Q is equal to 0. So delta U is equal to W is correct. Option A. Seventh will. 1 mole of a non-ideal gas undergoes a change of state from 2 atmosphere, 3 liter, 95 Kelvin to 4 atmosphere, 5 liter, 245 Kelvin with a change in internal energy delta U is equal to 30 liter atmosphere. The change in enthalpy of the process in liter atmosphere is. Now you just need to look at the data they have given. 2 atmosphere pressure, 3 liter volume, 95 Kelvin temperature. So in 2 states they have given pressure, temperature, volume conditions. They are asking us to calculate the change in enthalpy delta H. They have given delta U also. So obviously it means that we have to use delta H is equal to delta U plus is the question. Now let's see how many of you can work out, because there are 2 forms. Based on that you have to. I have given you the equation also which is to be used, but there is little change required in the equation. So what is that? You think about it and get me the answer. Let me see. 30 seconds for you.
Forty-four.
44. Okay.
Option C.
Anybody else?
Third option.
Seven C. Okay. right? Since pressure, temperature, volumes have been given, okay? So delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V form must be used. But at two states, pressure, volume has been given. So better take up the equation in this manner. You know H is equal to U plus PV. For two states, H2 is equal to U2 plus P2 V2. H1 is equal to U1 plus P1 V1, like that. When you take the difference H2 minus H1, it becomes U2 plus P2 V2 minus this, right? So you can take U1 and segregate the equation like this. So we have U2 minus U1 plus P2 V2 minus P1 V1, right? Let's substitute the values. U2 minus U1, they have given delta U 30, and P2 V2, you go to second one, pressure 4, volume 5, and pressure 2 and volume 3 ladder. So 4 into 5, 2 into 3, so it becomes 44. I think some of you have given correct answer. So option C is correct. Come on. Okay, shall I proceed now? Done?
Yes, sir.
Oh. We'll take up the eighth one. What is the problem? Eighth one. The one which is not an extensive property. The one which is not an
Density.
extensive property.
Option C.
Exactly. So internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, they all depend on the amount, whereas density doesn't depend on the amount of the substance. Density of a substance is just an intensive property. Okay, so it is option C. Density, viscosity, surface tension, molar heat capacity. So though it is energy, whenever energy is defined per unit quantity, molar heat capacity, specific heat capacity, they all become intensive properties. Simply heat capacity becomes extensive. We'll take up ninth. 2 grams of hydrogen gas at STP expands so that the volume is doubled. The work done during this process is 2 grams hydrogen they are given, expands, volume is doubled. So V2 is equal to 2 times V1. So work done. So what is the kind of process here? At STP, temperature is constant, external pressure is also constant. So do you need to use V2 by V1 equation or simply P delta V?
P delta.
Come on, make it fast. What's the answer?
92.4.
2 gram is nothing but 1 mole, right?
C.
1 molecular mass. So volume at STP 22.4, V1, V2. So no problem. V2 minus V1 will be same, 22.4. W is equal to minus P delta. So it becomes minus 22.4 liter. So option B is right. Come on. Write down. Let me know when it is finished. Shall I proceed now?
Yes, sir.
See, those who are still writing, please respond. Somebody says yes, sir, and since no other response is there, we'll think that everybody would have taken. And those who are still writing have to say, wait a minute. No problem, we'll take it. 1 mole of aluminum carbide. Okay, 1 mole of aluminum carbide reacts with water in a closed vessel at 27 degrees centigrade against atmospheric pressure. The work done is, rather than thinking about problem, this is kind of concept based. That is the hint I can give you. Okay, I'll give one more clue. Look at the vessel. What kind of container?
Insulate.
No, it's not insulated. Just closed. That's all.
Sir, 0.
Why?
Why? Because volume doesn't change at all.
Very good. That's the answer. So that's the correct answer. Since it is a closed vessel, in a closed vessel, volume of the container is volume of the reaction mixture, and delta V doesn't change. When delta V doesn't change, what is the equation to be used? It is P delta V above equation. Okay. So therefore, P delta V in the same equation here. Delta V 0 means work done is also 0. Okay. Next we'll do. Exactly. It is an isochoric process. Correct. We'll take up 11th one. A gaseous reaction was carried out first keeping the volume constant and the next time keeping the pressure constant. Okay, so one gaseous reaction at 2 different conditions, volume constant and pressure constant. In the second experiment, there was an increase in volume. Obviously, no. When you want to keep pressure constant during a reaction, it has to be carried out in an open container, open system. Because only in open system, pressure remains constant. And keeping pressure constant, volume increases. Okay. Whereas in a closed container, volume remains constant, pressure alters always. Okay. In the second experiment, there was an increase in volume. The heats of the reaction were different. Heat change during constant volume, constant pressure, both are different. What could be the reason?
Option B.
In the second case, energy was spent to expand the gases, whereas no such kind of expansion is possible at constant volume. That's the correct answer. In the second case, at constant pressure, volume, they have given themselves, in the second experiment, there was an increase in volume. Even if they have not given that sentence, you should know when pressure has to remain constant in the reaction mixture, it has to be carried out in an open system and volume has to increase. So when volume increases, work is done by the system. Obviously, heat is absorbed differently at constant pressure and constant volume. That's why you would also take, you remember this, okay? Heat change at constant volume. What is it? Heat change during a reaction, keeping the volume constant, will become equal to delta U. Similarly, heat change at constant pressure will become equal to delta H. Okay, if you want me to elaborate on that, I'll just give this, you can copy down. We have this first law, delta U is equal to Q plus W. At constant volume, okay. Change in volume is not there, delta V 0. And just now we have decided when delta V 0, W is 0. Therefore, during constant volume, our isochoric process, heat change Q at constant volume becomes equal to delta U. That's all. Is it okay? Now, similarly, we have this delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta. But what is, delta U? Delta H is equal to. Delta U can be also, delta H can also be written in the form of this delta U is equal to, in terms of the first law of equation, first law of thermodynamics, delta U is equal to Q plus W, right? I've written there, no problem. One second. Just take this equation. This can be Q plus W plus P delta, right? And what is W again?
P delta.
Minus P delta equal to minus P delta plus P delta. This cancels. So what it becomes equal to Q. What does it mean? Heat change Q at constant pressure. When pressure is constant only, we can use W is equal to P delta. So heat change at constant pressure is equal to delta H. So this is how we prove QV is equal to delta U, QP is equal to delta H. In this context, we can also write this equation. Delta H is nothing but QP. Delta U is nothing but QV plus P delta. Or that RT delta N form. They'll ask you sometime, calculate the difference between QP and QV. RT delta N. Also you can write. Break down. Let me know. I'll proceed. Shall we proceed now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'm going to erase all. If all of you have taken. Okay. I'll just erase. We'll take a next question. When a system absorbs 600 joules of heat and performs 350 joules of work, the increase in the internal energy of the system is, this is just first law, easy. 600 is heat absorbed. Absorbed is plus Q plus 600. Work is done by the system, performs 350 joules. It should be negative. Work done by the system is negative. So 600 minus 350 is 250 joules. So option C is correct. Okay. We'll take up 13th. Enthalpy of an element in the standard state is
0.
Enthalpy of an element in standard state is taken as 0 for all calculations. Elements exist, they do not form as compounds. Elements when combined, compound is formed. 14. In a non-gaseous homogeneous reaction, delta H is equal to delta U, less, more. What is correct?
Equal to delta U.
Why?
The volume change is negligible for liquids and solids.
Okay. In a non-gaseous homogeneous reaction, when I say, the reaction must be in solution phase, must be involving even solids. That's the meaning. There is no gaseous component. Now, delta H and delta U are related. As per the equation, delta H is equal to, right here, delta U plus RT delta N. So you need to find delta N for, for finding out the relation between delta H and delta I, right? So delta N is equal to 0 for non-gaseous reactions. When it becomes equal to 0, delta H, therefore, delta H is equal to delta. That's all. So option A is correct. Go to next. The work done when 2 moles of an ideal gas expands reversibly from a volume of 1 liter to 2 liters at 300 Kelvin is. So what kind of reaction is this? 2 moles of an ideal gas expands reversibly from a volume of 1 liter.
3.45.
Answer, huh? How much?
Option C, 3.45.
Okay. Is it adiabatic process or isothermal process?
Isothermal.
Because?
Reversible.
Constant and it's reversible.
No, it can be, because it is reversible, it is not isothermal. Because 300 Kelvin, temperature is constant, it is isothermal. Even adiabatic process also can be reversible. Okay. The equation to be used, minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. So, N value 2 moles they have given. Better use R value, they only have given 0.0083, whatever they have given. So, into 300. Log 2 is 0.3010, right? This will be 0.3010, 0.3 you can take. When you shift the decimals, it becomes 3 into 0.83, which is approximately 25, 2.5 into 0.3, 0.75, and into 1.5 of this is 3.45. No problem. It should be negative, of course, because it is work is done by the system or expands reversibly. Okay, so therefore, work is done by the gas. It should be negative. Any of magnitude they have given, that's the only answer that is matching. So option C is correct. Right? So we shall proceed further. Next. The enthalpy of formation of ammonia is minus 46.0 kilojoule per mole. The enthalpy of the reaction is for this reaction.
Minus 184 kilojoules.
Why?
Into 4 we have to, because it's 46 is for
4 moles of ammonia is we are getting 4 moles of ammonia. So.
Vallabh is asking me about some kind of overlap. Exactly. The worksheet that has been given for you, at least some 4 or 5 equations in the entire worksheet have got some kind of overlap. Please, I am portraying the equations. You go through this and write there. Okay, or write in a notes later when you take printout, you can write it. So that is some kind of technical thing. While converting Word format to PDF, sometimes it happens, some points and all. So you write this equation, Vallabh, 2N2, all of you for that matter, 2N2 plus 6H2 giving rise to 4NH3. I think around 5 equations have been mistakenly printed there like that. It is overlapped completely. Hope you can write this. Okay. That's correct. For 1 mole of ammonia, enthalpy of formation means it is always for 1 mole of substance to be formed. Heat liberated is 46.0. But in the equation, there is 4 moles of ammonia. So into 4, it can be 184.0 kilojoules of heat is liberated.
It should
So
be positive.
it's not positive.
Sir?
One problem which we have worked out. Come on. You can go through. They have given bond energies of ClCls, OH, HCl, and O double bond O. They are asking us to calculate enthalpy of the reaction given there. Again, chlorine is there, but in the place of CH3Cl, there is water.
Sir, doubt, sir.
Ask me, please.
In 16th one,
positive.
It should be positive, no, sir, for reactant.
16th?
Yes, sir.
ಯಾಕೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇರಬೇಕು?
Any doubt, sir?
That is what doubt. That's why ನಾಲ್ಕು ಕಣೋ ನನಗೂ ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆ. ನೀನು ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ. ಅದು ಡೌಟ್ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅಂತ ಅವನು. Very nice, man. So the enthalpy of formation of ammonia. So when 1 mole of ammonia is formed, enthalpy change negative ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. For 4 moles, obviously into 4 ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ವಾ? Positive ಯಾಕೆ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ? Because if delta H given for 1 mole, if it were to be positive, for 4 moles also it will be positive. So delta H negative means it is an exothermic process. Formation of ammonia is exothermic. Oh, come on, man. You people have P block elements for test also, and Haber's process of manufacturing ammonia has been done. Heat is liberated. Come on, man. So this reaction is exothermic process. It has to be negative, not positive.
I thought 46 kilojoules was the enthalpy of products. So this.
Hagala formation of 1 mole ಗೆ 46 ಲಿಬರೇಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರಿವರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಈ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 4 moles ಇದೆ ಈ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. 1 mole ಗೆ 46 ಆದ್ರೆ 4 mole into 4 ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ವರ್ಡ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Thank you.
Did I answer to the point?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes ನೀವೇನೋ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ ನಾವೇನು ಹೇಳೋಕೆ. Okay. So come on. Anybody has got the answer for this?
Option C, sir.
So option C, 172.4. Any other answers?
Option C only.
Oh, other answer is also option C. Okay, no problem. Let us write the reaction 2Cl2 plus 2H2 giving rise to 4HCl and O2. For reactants, energy is required to break the bond. We'll calculate overall energy required for breaking all the bonds there. Better you remember this. Okay. In reactant side there is Cl bond Cl and water. Okay, and each water has 2 OH bonds or HO bonds, right? How many molecules of Cl2 are there? 2 Cl2 plus 2 H2O. So 2 into 2 OH bond energy. This is 2 into bond energy of ClCl. That's all. Whereas in the product, there is HCl O bond O, so there is no problem. Okay, so this is 2 into bond energy of 242.2 is what is of ClCl. And 2 into 2, why? Because each water molecule has 2 OH bonds. So there are 2 such water molecules. So 2 into 2, that's why we have written here. OH bond is 460. This is the amount. Energy released when bonds are formed in the products. Okay. There are 4 HCl bonds. 4 into bond energy of HCl plus bond energy of O2. O double bond O. 442 they have given. So while substituting, you should be careful. It will be confused. Finally, you can take this. Just remove this. Okay. When you take bond enthalpy of reaction as bond energy of reactants minus products. So you can easily say it is 172.4. Okay. Or should I write once again everything, or enough? 4 times bond energy of HCl. This is bond energy of O2. Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is it time up for you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think we'll stop at this. It's 17. Rest we'll continue in the next class. Okay. No problem. We'll meet for the next class. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to end the meeting. Thank you.